Yes, yes, yes. Welcome again to another episode of Sneaks, Rhymes, and Life. I am your host, Lionel McDonald. An oldie but goodie, someone I haven't seen in forever. It's the first time I've seen him like on a screen or in person in, geez, how long, Jay? It's like literally been like since like 2010. But I got OG Jay Carter, otherwise known as Reddfactor, on the pod today. So,
Good.
Jay, what is popping? What's good?
Nothing, man. Just doing my thing, family thing, working, just struggling day to day, just trying to get it, just trying to get the next sneaker. I've
Yeah.
had some heartbreaks lately, so
Oh,
it is what
we'll
it
get
is.
into the. I can definitely anticipate what the heartbreak is, so we'll definitely chop it up and get into that. But yeah, I think we've known each other from sneaker circles, Foot Locker, but I think always people love to hear is how did your sneaker passion start? So maybe you can kind of give us what was the gateway into the sneaker world.
So for me, I have a couple avenues, but I started with my grandma. So my grandmother used to go to Florida. And my mom couldn't really afford sneakers back then. She would buy me sneakers from Walmart. My grandma was always like, he needs good sneakers. He's good sneakers for his hips, his knees. He's playing sports. So she would buy me 3 or 4 pairs of sneakers every time she was in Florida. And my grandmother just had incredible style. She was buying me Patrick Ewings. She was buying me Andre Agassi's. She was buying me all kinds of stuff that she could get out the outlet that she thought it would be cool for me. And my grandmother was really, really loud. So she would buy fluorescent yellow, like I had like a purple Ewing one year. Like I had some really cool sneakers. So I was just always really into it. I would always really just I wouldn't collect. I would just buy, wear it, and then kind of just chuck it out. I'd have like 2 pairs in rotation. Um, I wasn't really like hard into it, but I love sneakers. I every time I would go, I would always try to get a sneaker that no one else had. So my mom hated going to the store with me. My mom would go to the store with me and she would spend 2 hours. She'd be like, "Oh, what about this sneaker?" I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. Randy has that sneaker. I can't get that sneaker." So eventually she just got fed up of dealing with me and she would just give me some money. And I would go and buy some sneakers. I liked Reebok pumps. I liked Air Force Ones. Sneakers that I could just afford. The Foot Locker had that BOGO deal. Me and my boy Dutch, every time we had it, we'd cop 2 sneakers together, just, split the deal. We bought a lot like that. But
That was the way to do it back in the day.
it
That's
was the way.
2000 flex, right? Yeah.
You see the BOGO deal, you call your boy, like, yo, let's get a new pair of kicks. I need a new pair. So that really started the love. But where I really started collecting was, my buddy came home. He had this magazine called Sneaker Freaker, and like I'm reading it on his couch, and I'm like, I see that in the back of the magazine. I'm like, $400. Like I had that sneaker and I ran it into the ground. And I started to pay attention a little more. I went to a store called Goodfoot. This guy named
Classic store in Toronto.
yeah, we had one in Montreal too, and it was really about SBs, and they had a couple of guys there, and it just kind of got my love going. And I think the first shoe I bought that I really started collecting was the Air Force Gray Nurse, that
Okay.
Fusion. And I just bought it, and it kind of, I think I still have it. It's just a collector. I don't even think I'd ever wear that shoe. It's kind of just like the first shoe I kind of bought. But from there it just snowballed. I just kept buying sneakers and they just started stacking up. And then when I started working for Foot Locker, it just got wild. Stuff would come in, you'd see stuff, you'd be like, okay, I gotta buy that. I gotta buy that. You gotta buy that. We get stuff on deals or stuff like that. We see stuff on sale. Um, it was just a good time. It was easy to get sneakers back then. I remember at Foot Locker,
Really easy.
you could pre-order. You could go up and say, "Listen, I want 3 pairs of True Blue
Yeah.
threes, and I'm gonna prepay for them. You guys are gonna keep the gift cards. I'm gonna come in that day. And I'm gonna get my sneakers," and it always worked out. and I
Yeah,
got a
if
lot of
if you had
sneakers.
the money, you could prepay for a whole lot of shoes back in those days. That was
You did.
what was that? That was like the
Oh eight. I
oh
remember
eight
oh
about
eight.
two probably 2005 to like 2008. That was the flex. So
It was. It was. And
uh,
I just, I
special
would go
times.
in and put
Get
my
the
money
gift
down.
card, shoes
Yeah.
were put aside. It was like smooth
Yeah.
sailing. You get your shoe, you knew you had it. And then, you chop it up with the guys in the store. You look at it, it's like, oh, can I get another pair? This one's got a mark on it. That's the way it used to be.
But no one cared. Like I
No, I
remember
know.
working at Foot Locker and I sold all the Kobe 6 Grinches. I sold them all. And I mean, the last one sold at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They sat, they were there all day.
Yeah.
And people just don't get that. Like it was different. Before the masses got on it, it was just a small culture. It was a niche thing. Everyone knew each other. It was a lot different. I don't think people really realized how different it was. And
It's
especially you would
totally
have to
different.
hunt.
Yeah.
You would go to a new city, you'd be like, I got to go to Dave's Meat Market. I got to go check out what's on the shelf because you don't know what's there.
Yeah.
You go in and you see a shoe. You're like, I've never seen this shoe before. Like, what is this? And you chop it up with a guy and you end up knowing the guy. And we didn't have no Instagram. So
No.
you didn't get to keep up with anyone. It was kind of just like, yo, you chop them up for 20 minutes. I never see you again. Good to meet you.
Oh, the good old days. Jeez, I was
Yeah.
talking to Uncle Sean and we were just talking about exactly the same thing. It's a totally different era that we're in right now. And whether it's resell and resell is fine. Like that, I don't have a problem with that. But I think the love and the passion about having the shoe, it not just to have the shoe, but because you're going to wear it, because it meant something to you, because Nike got you with the story about the shoe, or you talk about Reebok pumps, like everyone was captivated by D Brown when he pumped up his shoes in that slam dunk contest in 91, and then he did a no look dunk. And like my high school team had the shoe because of that.
Yep.
And people, the shoe anniversary last year, 25 years later, and people don't get it. And it was like, you just were not part of those times to understand why it was so important.
Yeah, I agree.
So you said a magic word a while ago. You talked about rotation. So, I know you were in Vancouver at one point, and we know the weather is wet to say the least when it comes to winter. But like Toronto, Montreal is a beast when it comes to winter. You get snow like nobody's business. So
Yeah.
we always like to hear what's in the winter rotation when the weather gets ugly.
Yo, I'm savage about it. I just wear foams. I wear ones. I wear I wear a lot of 95s. Like I wear
Oh,
a lot
word.
of 95s. I don't care. I probably I've went through like 4 or 5 neons. Um, I just find 95s is just a shoe that you can just trek through anything. Your foot might get a little wet,
Yeah, the mesh on
whatever.
the top, right?
Yeah, whatever, man. Who
Yeah,
cares?
yeah. That's a solid rotation, and people forget, like, because again, foams have kind of obviously fallen out of favor. But when that there's a chance that it's gonna rain or so, that is the indestructible shoe to wear outside. Lock
It's
it
it's
in.
it's one of the staples of a sneakerhead. You gotta have a couple of foams. If you know what's up, you're calling them dopes.
Yeah,
It's a staple. You gotta
yeah,
have it. It's like an Air Force One. It's like an
yeah. Penny
Uptown.
got me on those joints. I'm just
Oh,
like, I still remember seeing him. He was wearing. I was like, what the fuck is that?
oh. When I first saw them, I had to go and touch them. I'm like, what is that? And then I remember I seen the price tag and I was like, whoa, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa, whoa. I'm
heavyweight.
not about that. I'm not about that right now.
Yeah.
And then eventually my boys like, listen, get one. And I think I got my first foam was the Bumblebee.
Okay.
And that was
I called that Wu Tang joint.
and I think that was that the last pre-order at Foot Locker? Or
One of
was
the
that the
last, probably.
or was that the first lineup?
Mhm.
It was one of them. And I remember I got it and I put my foot in and I was like, whoa, whoa, what's this? Like it just you go in, it's like this glove.
Yeah.
And same with the 95s. 95s because when I worked at Foot Locker, all the Filipino girls were like, no, this is the shoe you gotta wear to work, you know. You can work all day in it, no problem. It's got that guard, so you don't get the nail that pops your air bubble. And I wore those for years at Foot Locker, like just were just
Yeah.
tanks.
Yeah. I love that. I love that shoe. That's my favorite Air Max shoe, period. OG Neon 95. I had a
It's the
pair, an OG pair from 95, and I bought it several times since, like, only probably, I think it was a Nike event, probably in 2015. So I went to go put it on to go to this. It's like, no one is going to have this. It's been not retroed in years. And sure enough, the air bubble like literally popped right off in my hand. Like it like disintegrated. And it was like, this is a sad day. I don't even have a dead stock pair. I got one shortly after, but I was crushed that my favorite Air Max was no more.
Yeah, it's unfortunately I've had that happen a couple times to me. It's sad. It's the thing of having Air Maxes, they only
Yep.
last so long. People got to understand that the longer you let them sit in the box, the less you can wear them.
Yep.
So,
Wear them joints.
I mean, the ones, I have neons that I've worn more and they're still going.
Yep.
And, I've had them, I think they're like 2010 joints or something like that, and they're
Hmm.
just still going. So,
Yep. So as we move on, so you gave us some great winter rotation shoes, but obviously the sign of the times right now is had a couple hot launches. We had in that military blue four. We had obviously the infamous lost and found, maybe the sneaker of the year in some people's eyes, not mine. We can talk about that in a second, but what are kind of some of the anticipated sneakers that are still on your radar that are from 22?
that Gore-Tex 5, that
Yeah.
Gore-Tex 5 is fire. It's just clean. Like it's nice. Um, there's definitely that crepe Air Max 1.
Hmm.
I'll be definitely reaching for those. There's those ugly duckings. I think the Air Max one's coming out soon.
Yeah, you're a big Air Max guy. I seem
Yeah,
to recall this from over time. Like, and it's not just 95. 95 I knew, but
it's
Air Max
LeBron.
One and
It's
yeah,
it's it's just Air Maxes. They fit my foot so well. It's I can't wear a lot of the Jordans. I can't wear a lot of the high tops anymore. So I've really transitioned the older I got to more low tops and more,
hmm,
trainers. I go to Europe maybe 2, 3 times a year. So I'm able to go and get some exclusives, and over there it's all about trainers. Like
yeah,
that's all they want. They don't even care about Jordans. If you can find Jordans that you can't even buy here and they're just on the
yeah,
shelf and they're yawning at that. They don't care.
yeah.
So
Funny thing about Europe, like mids are crazy. Like the amount of colors and pieces that they have there when it comes to mids is like out of this world.
yeah.
In comparison to North America. Like we are lightweight to them when it comes to Jordan 1 mids. Like
when it
that is one of their staple shoes.
and when it comes to everything, I notice when I go to Europe, they just have so many colorways.
Yeah.
They have so many different things. It doesn't matter if it's Asics, Air Maxes, anything. It's just Europe. It
Mhm.
just their color patterns are wild,
Yeah.
and they have a lot of it.
Yeah. Like if you could imagine it, it's probably in Europe.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Totally get it. So let's talk about the infamous Jordan 1 lost and found. Did you want it? Did you get it? If you
I
didn't get
wanted
it,
it.
what
I wanted
happened?
it.
Tell,
I
tell, tell me
wanted it.
how tell me what happened.
And Nike let me down. This is what happened. All
You
right.
were one of those.
So Nike
Oh.
let me down, and this is how Nike let me down. So I get up, I get on the site, and I put in my thing. I kind of put my head back, and I see in about like maybe half an hour that I got an email and says I got it. I won the raffle. So I'm like, okay, listen, I'm good. I don't need the chase. You know what I mean? Like I don't need to go and get another pair. I'm gonna let other people go and just get it. I'll sit back. And I I I don't know what it was. I think it was like a night. I think it was 9 o'clock. I was talking to my buddy. He's like, "Man, you're blessed." He's like, "Everyone I know, he's had problems." I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go check my account and see what's up. And I see that my order has been canceled. So I get on the Nike thing and I contact them and they're like, listen, there's nothing we can do. Your shoe. And I don't get it. I'm like, it's a raffle. How do you oversell a raffle?
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, so, honestly, it is what it is. And I'm having a hard time reaching out and getting it in the resale market. It's like, first of all, I know there's a chance of having, like, first of all, a mold pair, a
Hmm.
fake pair, or I'm paying $650,
Yeah,
which
it's just like no, just
I could buy four Air Maxes.
yeah, I know. I think if anyone, if you really wanted the shoe and you haven't bought it now, I would just wait. Wait for one, the price to come down. Two, you know what will happen. Nike cleans out their warehouse at the end of June, and they're gonna find 200 cases of those shoes.
Yeah.
JD Sports, Foot Locker, their app, it's gonna just magically show up, and hopefully you win them. But
Yep,
yeah, like
exactly.
to oversell the shoe is unreal. And like you're the first person I've talked to. I've seen so many people online from the US is like, I don't get it. Like, how does this billion-dollar organization break hearts like this? Like, people are furious.
And like they got to do something because look at my account, and I have a healthy account. I'm obviously, I have a very healthy account. Um, I think they need to do something about the bots because people are winning, man. People are eating pairs. And, you see online, people got 4 pairs, 5 pairs, 6 pairs. You're like, okay, I just want one.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But I'm with you. I've learned over the years that sometimes the best thing to do is don't chase, hold back, and it will come to you if it's meant to be.
Mhm.
I've had many shoes. The only shoe that really I've had a couple of shoes that just they haunt me. So it's
Give me one that haunts
the
you bad.
frags.
Oh, yeah. I got lucky with those.
I had them for $700 resale the first day. I had them, and I said no. I'm like, no, that's too expensive.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have enough money. The Dunk, what was it? The Dunk High Michigans, but like not
Hmm.
the ones that came out the time before the last ones, the time before that had the soft leather,
Yeah.
and they sat at J2 in sneaker box in Metrotown for months in the back corner, and I just couldn't afford them at a time. I just moved to Vancouver, and ah
Mhm.
ah. So
Yeah. There's always one or two out there that you just don't get. Like you think you just can get whatever you want, and you just don't get that one.
exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
that one hurt.
Yeah, and sometimes they feel like a layup and you just don't get it. So hey, you were talking about bots and how things used to be. So like what is your method of shopping these days? Is it you use an app like whether you're using um you're using Nike or you're using the Foot Locker app or whatever, or you're part of Soul Savvy and they kind of give you all the links, which is it's a really good app. Like if you want all the ins and outs of how to find something, you should just pay their subscription and get in there. It's definitely worth your while if you're trying to get some of the exclusive stuff. Or do you just prefer to get stuff in person? That's still
Yeah,
an
well,
avenue these days.
so Soul Savvy, I think they're not. I don't think they accept people anymore. I think they're kind
Okay.
of closed. I'm in another one right now. That's how I see all these people that just eat. Like you see it, like
Hmm.
they just eat, eat, eat. Um,
You're sounding like cannabis in second round knockout.
yeah, yeah. It's it is what it is. It's the game. It's how it's changed, and
Yeah.
people are out there for blood, and they're out there to make money, and I get it. I totally get it. But I think the bots have really kind of taken over the game, and I think retailers and I think companies need to pivot and change some stuff. So I think maybe you have to buy everything through your account now. I think that's a good way you can really stop these people from eating, 6 or 7 pairs. I think Nike's going to do it. I'll be honest with you. I think Nike's already been doing an audit of everyone that's kind of buying and stuff like that. I think they're doing it. They see it. They see that the bots is a potential to really harm the sneaker culture and the sneaker game. Especially if no one can get any pairs and everyone's got to pay resale for everything. It kind of hurts, right? But I've kind of transitioned by just getting pairs that no one wants, right? I
Yeah.
just buy the Air Max 95. I just buy all these stuff that no one wants. And right now, LeBron's this year was a blessing. Like no one even cares about LeBron.
Yeah,
So
but those LeBrons are like one of the best ones they've ever made.
like I can't believe I got everything. It was like nothing. I could have got
You
two,
got
three
the purple
pairs if I
joint,
want.
you got the
I got
Miami
everyone.
Nights. Yeah.
I got Miami Nights. I got the South Beaches. I got a re-ups of the Sprites. I know the Solars are coming out soon.
Yeah. I
Um,
think that's the one that comes out December 12th. I think it's like next week.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
So, yeah.
I'll be definitely reaching for that pair.
Yeah. I think that was like the first one that's like widely available. I think you kind of had to show up in a Nike on a certain day and they had it or whatever. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I think that one I think the other colors you'll be able to get much easier than like the first couple.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, as we move on, so you've kind of mentioned a couple cool things, but a lot of talk about Nike. But like, what is your opinion, or what is your flavor on brands outside Nike? So you've mentioned obviously Reebok because you talked about pumps, and those that listen to this podcast know I am a huge pumps fan. But what other brands are you kind of gravitating outside Nike these days?
Anyone that knows me, I'm a huge Gel Light 3 A6 fan. Like I'm a huge I'm even, I like Asics, I got the bodegas. I don't know if you can see them.
Yeah, yeah, we got it, we
Um,
got it.
so, I just like them. They're comfortable. Um, Other brands other than Reebok, I bought a little bit of Adidas. I bought a couple Wave Runners and a couple of some Yeezys, but I never really loved the brand. It never really fit my foot. I'm really just a Nike Asics.
Hmm.
Um,
What about New Balance? New Balance has made this good resurgence. Like, geez, I was in Fairview Mall today, and Fairview's got a New Balance store, like its first like in
yeah,
in retail mall store in God knows how long. They've always done street stores and really focused on servicing that tech running customer. But what are your thoughts on New Balance? Because they made kind of a splash in the last 15 months or so.
they're blowing up. They're really blowing up, and their quality. When I look at the shoes, their quality is really on point. I don't really gravitate towards the style. It's not really for me.
Mhm.
But I saw those J Sound ones. Those ones were pretty
Those
dope.
were fire.
Yeah, man. A couple of my buddies got those. They were Montreal exclusive, so they were kind of easy for people in Montreal to get. But I really haven't really went out too much. There's so much coming out from those three brands that they just kind of keeps me busy. Um, I don't really buy as much anymore. That's my
Yep.
thing. I kind of trying to limit it. But there's really Nike's really released some really nice stuff in the last 2 years, and you know I'm seeing these threes coming out, these white cements, and man, I'm going to have to try to get a couple
There's the
pairs of those.
white cement, and then there's the wizard one. So it's not the true blue; it's a wizard's version. So
Oh,
it's like
those
two shades
ones.
darker, and they look
Oh,
fire.
oh, those ones are so nice. Oh, I'll have to get them for sure.
Yeah. So,
So,
anyways, we're coming on the home stretch here of the pod. We got about 9 minutes left before Zoom cuts us off. But what would you say are your five favorite sneakers? You don't need to necessarily say the exact colorway, but maybe give your five favorite models.
so I would say Air Max 95s for sure. One of them. Gel Light threes, A6. Air Max ones. LeBron eights.
Okay, so we're up to four.
And then probably it's either it's Jordans is hard. It's like I really like the threes. I really like the ones, but those 13s are my first Jordans ever.
Gateway shoe.
That's the first ones ever, and I got them gifted to by my buddy. he had a pair sitting there. He's like, okay, we got to put it in this dock at his cottage, and he has a pair of He Got Game sitting right there. He's like, yeah,
Oh,
put those on, go in the water.
yeah.
So I put them on, I go in the water, I come out, and I mean, I'm soaked. I mean, I walked in them. And he's like, you know what? You can keep those. Man, you know me, I dried those things out, man, for like 2 weeks. I wore those things for the next like 5 months. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that was my first Jordan. I couldn't afford Jordans when I was younger. That's
No,
that's
same
why I
here.
love them now, right? I work for my money, so I buy what I couldn't afford,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so yeah, those are some great shoes, and I think it's nice to see you see, but you have a variety of, not just Nike, and you got one Jordan in there. 13 is, I wouldn't say it's one that slept on, but I think it always gets trumped by 3 or 11 or Jordan 1 or Jordan 4, and there's a few guys that are Jordan 5 guys, but yeah, the 13, the He Got Game particular one, because I remember watching the movie, and that it literally is like, hold on, whoa, 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 what are you wearing? You're wearing these in the movie? Like, this is what we're gonna do here? And it's
Oh,
like, this movie I'm gonna watch like 100 times. I still have it on DVD. Watch it anytime I want. And yeah, he rocked those.
you know what? I actually got that. My mom rented that for me on pay-per-view, and I actually watched that. I watched. I was like 6.95 or something. My mom's like, I was like begging her. I'm like, I want to watch this movie. Come on, mom. And back then, like, you couldn't watch. I didn't have a movie network or anything.
Yeah,
She rented it for me. It was like, I think it was 10 o'clock or something, and I watched it. She shook her head. She just walked away. She's like, oh,
yeah. Just let you
whatever.
do your thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Let you do your thing. All right. So we play a quick little segment here. It's kind of, we'll do a rapid fire. It's called this or that. So I'm going to
Yeah.
give you two shoes, and you're going to tell me which one is the one that you would definitely go with. It doesn't matter what colorway or whatever. Well, which model would you go with? So
Okay.
first up, Air Max 90 or Air Max 1 OG.
I'm gonna go the ones OG.
Okay. Jordan 3 or Jordan 4.
I'm gonna go threes.
Okay. Griffey line or Barkley line.
Whoa, Griffey line for sure.
Okay. Um, I like the Griffey. I think I might say the Barkley line is better. Anyways,
That's why I say line. I was like,
different
I'm
strokes for
thinking they're
different
all of them.
folks.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Puma as a brand or New Balance as a brand.
I'm gonna go New Balance.
Okay. Jordan 6 or Jordan 7.
Six.
Okay. And then Foam Posit or Penny 1.
Phone pause it.
Okay. We'll give you a bonus one. Jordan 1 or Jordan 4. Because that's kind of the hot two shoes right now. Jordan 4 has
I'm,
made
I'm
this resurgence right now.
yeah, I'm gonna take. I'll probably take Jordan fours,
All right. Okay.
just because it's an Air Max, right? It's at
Yeah,
the end of the day.
exactly. So, in the world of sneakerheads, we obviously have significant others, or we have kids, or we got best friends. So in your, call it your inner circle, are there many that are sneakerheads? Do they understand what you're doing? Do they think you're crazy? Like, how does it go down? My wife personally, we met when I worked at Foot Locker, so she gets it because she likes sneakers at one point. Now she likes them, but not to the level of collecting or needing to have multiple shoes in multiple colors. My daughter, she has her own sense of style. She definitely likes Nike, but she'll wear Asics. She'll wear a variety, like whatever the color looks, that's what she'll wear. Like, I tried to force feed her in early life. I bought shoes for her 20 years before she was even conceived. So
Yeah,
she had Jordan 11s. I go back and look at the pictures. Like, there's a picture of us wearing True Blue 3s. There's a pair of us wearing my gateway shoe, which was Bread 11. So in my world, and my brothers, they bought whatever I bought. If I would, when in the days of pre-order, I would buy 3 pairs because I would buy one for me and they would get one. I might even buy 4 because I would need 2 because I need a dead
yeah,
stock one. And then my
yeah.
brothers would get one. One brother may not want it. So then I got to take it back and get something else. But that's how it is in my world. How is it for you?
So my wife really wasn't into it when I met her. She had a couple pairs of shoes. I've got her into it. She has a pretty nice collection, but she doesn't really care. At the end of the day, she's not
Mhm.
reaching for anything. My son just doesn't really care. He likes Kyrie Irving shoes. He likes yellow shoes. Um,
He was
he
on those
doesn't.
SpongeBob joints, wasn't he?
Dude, he loved those
My daughter
sponge.
loved those too. Like she was so happy when she went to school with those things on.
Yeah, same, exact same. He loved them. He played basketball on them.
Yeah,
He loved the Kyries. He doesn't care, I just got him the Lost and Found. I got them off Nike, so I'm gonna give them to him for Christmas.
dope.
He'll like those. And at the end of the day, for him, it's just he likes to play basketball. I got him the Fire Red threes, and he literally just wants to play basketball on them.
Got it.
Good for him, man.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I got my daughter just getting into basketball as of like this year. She's in gymnastics, she's done swimming, she played summer in soccer because her friends played, and she found out she was actually really good when she's actually decided to play. So it's fun to kind of live through your kids, particularly if you were an athlete or you're a
Mm-hmm.
sneakerhead or you're both, and now you see the next generation kind of picking up and kind of finding their way on what they like. So
Yeah.
as we wrap up, I think one we got probably 2 minutes. So can you give us maybe a sneaker story where you went on a hunt for something? What did it look like? And kind of break it down for you. Probably have about a minute and a half to tell the story before we wrap up.
Um, Man, I got so many stories. The best story I can think of is, we used to always camp in front of Exclusive City, and there's a store. It started in the West Island, and we used to go in front of it. And I remember one release, and I can't remember. I want to say it was the Jordan ones at the Pinnacles, those special ones, or it might have even been the Shadow backboards. And we actually had like 30 people there, 40 people. Half the people weren't there for sneakers. People were just vibing. There was reggae going on. I got woken up in the like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning by them just yelling and just dancing, and they were drinking and having fun. And it got to the point where police would just drive by and they knew it was just sneakers. They stopped so many times to ask us that they just stopped stopping.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, people were just drinking, no one had any problems, and then people would just leave. No, like, you would see that people were like, "Oh, are you waiting for sneakers?" Guys, like, "No, I'm just here because I knew Andrew here, and he's drinking and vibing." And at the end of the time, those are the moments I cherish, right? Like the people that you meet and the connections through sneakers. I think that's the one thing that I miss about sneakers, the old
Yeah.
days.
Yeah, I can feel you on that. So Jay, really appreciate you having you on the pod, and definitely hopefully your peoples and your various sneaker channels get a chance to hear it. But for those that don't know you, because I know there's some that listen to this pod that don't know you, how do they find you on Instagram? Like what do you go by on IG?
I go by Reddfactor. That's with two D's, so Reddfactor. Check me out there. Um, and then on Instagram, just Jay Carter.
All
Just
right. All
yeah.
right. So thank you for being on. Much appreciated. Good to catch up with you always. So this is another amazing episode of Sneaks Rhymes in Life. Thanks for listening. You can catch it on YouTube. You can catch it on Instagram. Yeah, there will be a couple snippets that go on, and yeah, continue the movement of listen to great things about sneakers and hip hop.